Hi everybody and welcome to TNT, the third day that we're talking about this banking issue. We need to, because there is firstly a lot of aggrieved people out there, and I think they deserve to know as much information as we can possibly pass on for the people that have been caught up in this situation already and for those who may be caught up in the future. Now, I've got some practical ideas of things you could do if you are, one, caught up in the situation at the moment, and two, if it happens to you in the near future. I'll do that in the second half of the video. But I did want to spend the first half by just sort of clarifying a few things. A lot of outrage and frankly outrageous social media posts at the moment about the situation, and I can understand that you might be angry about it, but screaming at the screen, screaming at clouds, in some cases people screaming at their bank tellers, is not going to do anything to help the situation. Now, to try and clarify a few things, we go back to March, when the Bank of Thailand announced that they were going to be introducing measures to try and clamp down on the emerging scam problem. It was really starting to build up, and the Thai government had decided they were going to start to do something active about it. They'd turned off the electricity, they'd cut the internet access to some of these scam centres that were building around the borders of Thailand, just over the borders in, say, Myanmar and Cambodia. But they've now started to, well, back in March they decided that they would be much more proactive and look at the way that Thai bank accounts were being abused by some of these scammers, big and small. So that goes back to March this year, and it was followed up by a royal decree. Let me just read it. So it's the Royal Decree on Measures to Prevent and Suppress Technology Crime. It came into effect on April the 12th, into practical effect on April the 13th, also known as the Cybercrime Decree. And it grants government authorities, Thai government authorities, the ability to freeze or suspend what they consider to be suspicious transactions or accounts. It also allows for the customer to request a freeze on payments that you think might be suspect or suspicious. So really was going to be helping banks on their clampdown, and also customers to try and get involved in circumventing payments that they think or suspect may have been suspicious. So the bottom line is, as we sit here today, is that there are still some people, both Thai and foreigners, who don't have access to their account. They were maybe promised that they'd be sorted out in a week or so, and some of them have been waiting months, and now a lot of Thai people are caught up in the situation. Now, to put all this into some sort of regional context, in Thailand there's about 118 million bank accounts in existence, and of those, over the past 3 or 4 weeks, some 3 million have been put under some sort of inspection, perhaps suspension, maybe some sort of postponement, or questions being asked about the validity of those accounts or the identity or further identity being required for those accounts. In Vietnam, since September the 1st, remembering that they've got 200 million bank accounts in Vietnam, and since September the 1st, 86 million, that's nearly half of the bank accounts in Vietnam, have been closed down for much the same sort of reasons. So Vietnamese people are being caught in this dragnet even more so than here in Thailand. So to a few practical ideas as to what you can do if you've been caught in this situation at the moment. And the first thing, without sort of sounding too obvious, is just to sort of calm down a bit and approach the situation step by step and be very practical and unemotional about the situation. Now, I understand it has been very disturbing to a lot of people. Some people are very worried about, for example, the bank accounts that they have, their deposits, to prove their long stay in Thailand. 400,000 for a married person, 800,000 if you're single. And I'll give you some practical ideas as to what you could do if you've had those accounts suspended. The other thing, we just do need to be a little bit careful at the moment. If you think that rushing to social media and screaming about your particular problem is going to help, Thailand's libel laws can be quite draconian, and depending on what you say about a particular bank or a particular branch, you might be setting yourself up for more trouble than it's worth. So I'm just suggesting that in Thailand, we just do need to be careful of our P's and Q's because of some of the, well, in some cases, rather draconian libel laws. Now, if you are having problems or you've been advised by your bank to go down to the branch where you opened your account and provide more ID, then just get every piece of ID that you can and go down to the branch. There is no use yelling at the staff. There's no use yelling at the tellers or the manager or the poor man who opens the door for you and gives you a ticket for you to be attended to. Just go in, and you might have to leave a couple of hours, sometimes even longer. Anything involving Thai banks always takes a lot longer than you might think. I've got 3 or 4 different bank accounts. I've been banking here for 14 years with businesses and personally, and just about anything to do with the banks can take a lot of time, a lot of paperwork, and a lot of patience. Now, at this time, especially if you live in Thailand, you'll likely be doing a lot of payments with QR codes under the prompt pay system. Now, there are some vendors out there, some shops that at the moment, given the current situation, are less likely to take your payment on prompt pay. So it might just be advisable to maybe carry a bit more cash with you than you might have done in the past. Indeed, keep some at home in a safe place. There's certainly a bit more in your pocket. I know, for example, with me, anytime I go to 7-Eleven, the prompt pay system doesn't work with 7-Eleven. They've got their own internal online payment system. So, I always have a bit of cash for 7-Eleven purchases, but at the moment, I'd be carrying a bit more cash, have a little bit more readily available, and maybe if you've got all your cash in one account and you've got other accounts, maybe spread it around a little bit more than usual, the old idea of not having all your eggs in one basket. Now, if you are having trouble with your bank account at the moment, or if you've got some sort of message from your bank saying that you need to come in for a bit more identification, the first thing I'd do is ask for some sort of confirmation in writing from them. Now, the teller's probably not going to be able to do that for you. You're going to need to speak to the bank manager. They may forward you on to the local branch manager. Whatever it takes, it really would be very helpful for you to have some confirmation from the bank in writing. And even if you can go down to your local consulate or embassy, asking them to write some sort of confirmation. I'm not sure if they will or not, but those sort of confirmations that you are having trouble with your bank will help. If you have auto payments, for example, and you have to start paying interest, or you get your Netflix account suspended, or whatever it is, those letters of confirmation from the bank or your consulate are certainly going to help. Minimum, get an email from them about the current situation on your bank account. Now, locally, if you do live in Thailand, there are some digital wallets that you might be able to put some money into. They may be wallets that you use to pay for your accounts or use services already. Maybe you can just top up those accounts, and you may be able to use those digital wallets to pay for various things at this time. For example, there's the True Money wallet. I've got money sitting in there to pay for my True services, and they just take the money out of that wallet when they need to each month to pay for my account. There's also Line Pay, Grab Pay. I'm sure you know others. So those local digital wallets would give you an opportunity to perhaps draw from those wallets to pay for various services, depending on what the services are. So just have a read about those services if you already use them, or if you've got accounts with True or Line, and see how they may be able to help provide some sort of payment system at this time. Similarly, if you are living in the country and you might have a lot of money in a Thai bank account, if you do have an opportunity to transfer money from an account that isn't suspended at the moment back into a home country account or an overseas account, that may at least give you some more options at this time, trying to reduce the amount of exposure you have to the Thai banking system by moving some of the money outside of Thailand again. Now, as a Thai banking customer, you do have rights, and you certainly have recourse to the bank. And the best way you can do that is go down to your local branch and try and speak to the manager and just go through your particular problems. Beyond that, there are 2 organisations that you can write to. They both have hotlines. hopefully they have them in a language that you can speak to them with. The Anti-Money Laundering Office and also the Bank of Thailand, they both have hotlines for customer complaints. They might be very busy at the moment, but these are beyond your local branch. These are areas or organisations where you do have some recourse as a Thai banking customer. Now, if you are an expat, you're in Thailand, your account's been suspended, or they've called you in for some additional identification or clarification, go into your bank branch, try and speak to the manager directly. Even better, if you can make an appointment with your local branch manager and take all the documentation you possibly can and put on a clean shirt, put on a pair of shoes, go in, leave plenty of time and go through the situation step by step without any emotion, and try and just get through the situation, explain as much as you can and be patient and just see where that takes you. Going in with your arms flailing around and just being really, really upset is not going to work in a Thai context. Now, building a relationship with your bank manager is not only going to help you at this time, but also in the future if there's any other need to sort out problems with your Thai bank account. The other thing is that the Thai bank managers probably got instructions from the head office about what they need to do at the moment, and they're not liking the situation any more than you are. Now, at this time, because of the current situation, you may be thinking of transferring a lot of money out of your account into another Thai bank account or back overseas or into some other facility. I would certainly pre-warn your bank manager or the bank that you're going to do that. Even go into the bank while you're doing it or get them to help you with that transaction so they understand if there's a big movement of currency on your account, either coming in or going out, that they understand that it's completely legitimate and it's been signed off by you. Now, apart from keeping your consulate or your embassy up to date with what's been affecting you, especially if it's really causing you some major problems, the other thing you can do is to consult a lawyer. Now, by consulting the lawyer, it's not as if they'll be magically able to do anything, but it shows that you're being proactive and they may be able to help you with some sort of letters or maybe writing informational letters in Thai so that things can be catalogued by a lawyer acting on your behalf. Finally, the situation is very lumpy. It doesn't seem to be equal across bank branches or even bank brands, even though there seems to be a smattering of all the bank brands mentioned in people contacting me over the last couple of months. If you haven't been affected yet, well, good for you. Most expats have not been affected, but for those that have, it's a particularly frustrating and perhaps even fearful situation. But it will resolve, and the best thing you can do is be diligent and proactive about trying to sort it out at the moment. I imagine there will be a lot of frustration and in the coming weeks probably a lot of queues, whilst a lot of Thai people affected now will be trying to sort this situation out. So hopefully that's been a little bit of help. I'm trying to be a calm voice in all this situation. Me yelling at the camera is not going to help, and I would suggest that anybody who is screaming at the camera, venting their frustration, is not really helping the situation, especially if you're a foreigner. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.